All right, a federal judge dismissing the $300 million lawsuit filed by Golden Boy Promotion and Oscar De La Hoya. All right, look, let's get right into it. So, recently, a judge found Al Haymon, Mr. PBC, Black Hitler, whatever you want to call him, according to Golden Boy Promotion, not guilty. Okay. Basically, look, I don't want to make a video too long. So, Golden Boy Promotion, they're accusing him of violating the Muhammad Ali Act, okay? And recently, look, man, Golden Boy Promotion, they're just not looking too good. You got Bernard Hopkins falling out of the ring, Oscar De La Hoya getting his DUI, Canelo fighting Chavez at 164.5, but he can't fight Golovkin at 160 pounds. What the hell is going on, Oscar De La Hoya? Are you on the powder? Are you on the dust? What are you doing? Like, seriously, like, this guy is not using his head. Now, I think, we all know Al Haymon is violating the Muhammad Ali Act, okay? And I don't want to get into it. I'll read a quick definition of the Ali Act and what it is for. I mean, it's basically so a promoter can't monopolize boxing. I mean, that's pretty plain and simple. Or he cannot promote and be a manager of the same fighter. So, which he does all the time. So he is in clear violation. But Al Haymon, he's a clever businessman. He uses guys like Lou DiBella as a fall guy. Okay, so he knows how to get around legal matters. So you have Oscar De La Hoya, jumping in there probably unprepared, and he lost. Okay, I mean, I think a good lawyer could have found Al Haymon guilty. So let me read right here, the Muhammad Ali Act, okay, is a federal law that was introduced in 1999, okay, that's when it was introduced, so by the 106th Congress, okay, but let me read you a definition. The bill amends the Professional Boxing Safety Act of 1996 to establish definitions for fighter combat sport competition. Okay, I don't want to read all of it, but I just want to get to the good part, okay? The agreements mentioned, blah, 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 blah. The bill applies conflict of interest provisions that prohibit a promoter from having a financial interest in the management of a boxer or a manager from having a financial interest in the promotion of a boxer to fighters participating in a mixed martial arts or other combat sport competition scheduled for 11 minutes or more. Okay, let me give you layman's terms. And actually, we made a video about the Muhammad Ali Act a couple of years ago. I mean, look, it's basically so these promoters cannot monopolize boxing. We gave an example. We said, okay, let's say you own Home Depot, right? A home improvement company. Here, let me get to a picture real quick. Okay, and you go and you buy the only lumber mill in your state or in your country, and then you refuse to sell any lumber to your competitors. So you're monopolizing that market. Okay, and and they call it it's an antitrust act, not trust as in like, oh, you lied to me, trust as in banking, things like that. So like I said, I don't want to get into it too deep because it's going to take way too long, but it's basically monopolizing and being a promoter and a manager at the same time. It's just monopolizing boxing. Okay, and Al Haymon clearly has a monopoly on his guys. I mean, it's like the Cold War in boxing. It's no secret. And now, and you got to remember that Bob Arum recently dropped his $100 million lawsuit against Al Haymon. We just recently had the the Terrence Crawford and Molina fight, John Molina Jr. Okay, you got Bob Arum, Top Rank, working with Al Haymon. So, look, I don't know what's going on with Golden Boy Promotion. I mean, it just what they're accusing him. Like, for example, they say that he will like secure a venue and then basically to try to block a fight. So he's doing things to interfere with the business of Golden Boy Promotion. Of course, the matchmaking, we all know what's up with that. You got the Cold War, right? This guy can't fight with that guy, blah, blah, blah. We all know different promoters not working with each other. But Al Haymon takes it a step further. He'll secure a venue, and then cancel the date. So, basically blocking other promoters from that date or that venue. And that's just like the name of the game. It's been going on a long time. So I don't see how a judge couldn't find him guilty of that. So, but like I said, in Top Rank, they've just said, you know what, we're done with all of it. Let's work together and just see what happens. So, but look, and now also something else I wanted to bring up. Richard Schaefer. Basically, he had the no-compete clause 2 years after he left Golden Boy Promotion. He had to wait 2 years. He couldn't work in the same industry. It's actually pretty common clause in like the corporate America. It's not a conflict of interest clause, but it's the no-compete, meaning you cannot leave your current position and go to your competitor or any like industry. So, like I said, he left Golden Boy Promotion. He had to wait 2 years before he can get back into the boxing game. Now he's back, so he's fulfilled his clause. So now he is back. All right. So look, now let me read just a couple of quotes from the actual court documents here, or just quotes after the hearing. Okay. So they have testified that their duties are substantially the same as their duties for non-PBC events, which include, for example, maximizing event revenues and generating media attention for the event, coordinating with the pertinent state boxing commission regarding the promoter's various safety. Okay, this is the legal mumbo jumbo. So let me get to a quote. Right here. Here's something I wanted to read. Okay, the Golden Boy lawsuit followed a settlement in early 2015 in which several Haymon-managed fighters, including heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, and featherweight Leo Santa Cruz, split from Golden Boy by fighting for Al Haymon. The boxers were placed on several networks, including NBC, CBS, and ESPN, as Haymon relied on a reported $500 million in funds from a Kansas investment firm to buy television time and attempt to promote a sport that had been cast side by network. So right here, this is actually some really good information. Okay, this is proof right here. Al Haymon is not using his own money, and we all knew that. But here it is in black and white. Affiliated with a court document. So Al Haymon basically got $500 million from an investment company to fund premier boxing champions. So, like I've been telling everyone, he's not losing his own money. Okay, he's using everyone else's money. So he really, if it fails, he's not going to come out of pocket. Okay, so he is a smart businessman, but he's a snake on top of it. Let me find another quote here. Okay, we are obviously disappointed with the judge's ruling. However, our top priority at Golden Boy is putting on the best fights for the fans and promoting the best shows in the business. Ha ha, bullshit. We will continue to focus energies on working with anyone and everyone to make the best fight happens. Okay, guys, look. What we have here is karma. Okay, this is karma at its finest. Okay, I was in, like I said, you guys know I talk about it all the time because I had an exclusive inside look at Golden Boy Promotion, and I want to make a video about that. Recently, they were accused with the racist emails. Now, you can't really blame Golden Boy Promotion for that because you basically had this communication going on with a guy affiliated to Ring Magazine and a reporter. They're communicating, they're calling Al Haymon all these different words, the Black Hitler, stuff like that. So you can't necessarily pin that on Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotion. You have to hold those people accountable. Okay, not Oscar De La Hoya. But if that's like normal office talk, then I don't know. But I don't think it. I'm not going to say whether it is or not. I don't even want to get into that. But here's what I want to tell you. When I was with Golden Boy Promotion, I can tell you this, okay, and I can prove it actually. They are highly, extremely racist towards white people and black people. Okay, Golden Boy Promotion, I'm telling you, very racist towards whites and blacks. And what you're probably wondering, well, what the hell are you talking about? Why do you say that? Okay, here, let me get you a picture going. Okay, look, like I said, when I was with them, it, I mean, I have to give you a bunch of little examples, but I'll give you one example in particular. Okay, they basically they pander to the Mexican, to the Hispanic community. So it's like if you're a white guy at a Golden Boy promotion event, you kind of take a back seat to everyone else. For example, so I went there as press. Okay. But before that, I went there just as a normal boxing fan. They had a couple of like an open media workout. They had different things like that that fans could come in, meet the fighters, meet and greet, stuff like that. They had a little concert. So I went there, and on day one, they did a Twitter thing where you had to tell them you had to tweet to Golden Boy Promotion. I think it was like, who did Canelo fight last or some shit like that. And this was during the James Kirkland fight. Okay, so you had to send your tweet, and then you won like an autographed set of boxing gloves. Okay, so on day two, I knew they were going to do it again, right? Like I was waiting, right? I had my phone, like I knew they were going to do it again. So they said, all right, guys, we're about to give away some boxing gloves here, but we want you to tweet to go. And as soon as they said that, boom, I sent my tweet. And then right when the guy said, all right, go, like everybody tweet, go, he got my tweet. I was standing right there, and I know he got it because no one else in that room sent that tweet quicker than I did. And he like read it, and he like kind of like shook his head like nah, and then you could see him like going through, and then he picked like this Mexican guy in the audience. He's like, oh, that guy right there won. Like he was, he calls out a name because they go to their Twitter feed, call out a name, and say, okay, who is Jose Rodriguez? Oh, you won the glove, blah, blah, blah. But I know I won those gloves. Things like that. Another example. I was there with a lot of Mexican people. By the way, I'm in Houston. We have 8 million people here, and probably over 1/3 of our population is Mexican people, and I'm cool with all of them. They're my friends. I work with them. I live with them. They're great people. Okay, not putting them down, but what I'm trying to tell you, they are highly racist towards white people. The dirty looks that I got constantly, the hype man tattoo. He's actually a friend of mine with Golden Boy Promotion. We went to the Hard Rock Cafe eating dinner, and we talked about this, and he specifically told me that Golden Boy Promotion, they pander to the Hispanic community. They don't really necessarily target the white community because it's just not as profitable, and it's a waste of their resources, so they want to pander to the Mexican community because they want to get the best bang for their buck. Okay, I mean, I was literally told this by Golden Boy Promotion, so I can tell you there is racism going on with Golden Boy Promotion. So all these channels out here that want to claim racism, blah blah blah. Like I said, I'll make an entire video. I just gave you two little childish examples, but I have some really good ones that I'm not going to mention right now because I want to make a video about it. So I just gave you two little bullshit examples. The Twitter thing that I know I won, okay, or when we're all standing there getting autographs and they pass up the white people and go to the Mexican people, like all the Mexican Golden Boy fighters, they would literally pass the white kids and the white people and walk straight up to the Mexican people and sign autographs and stuff like that. That happened, and then I was literally told by Golden Boy that they really don't want to target white America. Okay, that they are going for the Mexican community. I mean, look at the next fight, the Chavez Canelo fight. So, but like I said, I'll make a video talking, specifically about other things that are really bombshells, honestly. But so that was my experience with them, and I was actually disappointed. I remember I came back and I talked to a lot of people. I was really disappointed, so that they were like that. You know what I mean? So it just sucked. So, but yeah, guys, that's all I have right now. I just mainly wanted to tell you guys about the lawsuit. Golden Boy Promotion taking another L. They're not looking too good. Like I said, you got Bernard Hopkins falling out of the ring. You got what's his name, Oscar De La Hoya, driving around drunk. I mean, the guy's a millionaire. He could rent a helicopter. He could rent a private jet. Like, what is he doing driving drunk? And I'll tell you another thing. They did the same shit here in Houston at the Hard Rock Cafe. All of them getting drunk and then leaving. So I don't know if they drove or not, but I tell you, they party. They drink. They do. And this was actually before the fight. So of course Canelo and the boxers, they're not drinking, but Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, they were definitely there. Having a good old time. drinking drinks, stuff like that. Now, if they drove or not, I don't know, but they do party. So I personally think that, Oscar De La Hoya, he's under a tremendous amount of pressure from the Canelo Golovkin situation. Plus, he's probably worried Chavez, might have a chance. So I think De La Hoya is under a lot of pressure right now. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to let you, give you that little bit of information. They lost that lawsuit, and really, I'm upset that they didn't win because I know Al Haymon is monopolizing boxing. Okay, so the problem is they just didn't have the right lawyers and they couldn't prove it. So Al Haymon just basically had better lawyers. So this isn't proof that Al Haymon is good for boxing. All this just proves that Al Haymon has better lawyers. So counterpunch boxing, we are out.